Okay, so my name is Daniel Edwards, and I'm here with the great Mashawn D. Simon, my interviewee, journalist, achieved journalist. Read a profile on you at what was this? It was the eShow2000.com that I saw a profile on you, and I guess it was you as a speaker.
NABJ.
Yep. Yeah. So I got to get a glimpse of your accolades, your awards and degrees and the things that you started with the NABJ. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is the National Association of Black Journalists, which I would hope to become a part of one of these fine, good old days. And so I want to start off with my first question. Is what kind of stories do you like the most to write?
It's interesting that you just say that, you just asked that, because I was just doing an interview with this woman out of Hampton Roads, and we talked a little bit about that. It has changed over time. Mm-hmm. There was one point in time in my life where I started out doing entertainment, and I loved doing entertainment. But what I enjoyed most about doing entertainment was to talk to celebrities and artists about them as people, not just the projects they were doing or the albums they were doing or what have you. Over time, that sort of changed, right? So I got interested in all these different areas or areas of focus or topics, if you will. So I've done business, I've done breaking news, I've done car chases, house break-ins, child prostitution. Like, I've done all these different kinds of stories. And I think what I've enjoyed the most about the stories that I did enjoy, was the human aspect of it, or the getting to know people behind the scenes rather than just the topic itself. And so the stuff that I'm doing for the Griot right now is faith-based stories pertaining to the Black community.
Okay.
And what I'm starting to find very enjoyable in that is, if you know or don't know, I'm currently in seminary. A very interesting adjustment from where I've been. But being able to mix this care and concern for people and educating people and informing people and getting to know people and sharing people's stories, on top of what I'm having to do in school of analyzing and critiquing the church from a perspective of, I may one day be a member of the church as far as the ministry is concerned. I'm getting joy out of mixing the two. So right now, that's what I'm enjoying the most, doing this faith-based type stuff that takes a look at the church, the goods, the bads of the church, analyzing, critiquing it. But next week that might change.
Right. Okay. And yeah, I did know that that you were studying theology at Emory University, correct?
Yes.
Right. And I've also seen that you worked at Black Enterprise Magazine, blackenterprise.com, let's see, Magazine Publishers of America, Essence Magazine, Written Magazine, and PreachToMe.com. And right now you're doing freelance writing, right?
Yes.
Okay. What inspired that? What inspired the freelance and not sticking in one particular place?
When I worked at Black Enterprise, I ended up at Black Enterprise as a result of an internship. And when I left Black Enterprise, they offered me this freelance opportunity, and I took it. Like, to continue to be able to write for Black Enterprise, even though I was going home. And at the time, I think I was in a class of like 7 other interns, and I was the only intern that they offered a freelance contract. And I was like, oh, okay, great. What I came to love and enjoy and appreciate about freelancing is there's a certain level of freedom in what you can or cannot do, or what you are or are not allowed to write about or concentrate on. So you're still working for someone, but you still have this entrepreneurial ability, if you will, to work upon things, to work on stories, or to work on topics that I can either give it to Black Enterprise, or I can give it to the Griot, or I can give it to the AJC, or I can give it to anyone and not be stuck in one place or be typecasted.
Okay.
And so I enjoy the freedom of that. I enjoy the diversity of that. I enjoy being able to write all sorts of different kinds of stories for different kinds of people whenever I feel the desire. It's almost like being a general assignment reporter times 20. So
what are some of the limitations for being a freelance writer?
Not having a constant paycheck.
Okay.
Every week. It was funny because I did Black Enterprise. I freelanced for 2 years. I freelanced for 2.5 years, and then I ended up at the AJC. And so it was an interesting transition, because in freelance, the other joy of freelance is having the freedom to work on things when you want to or when you can. So right now I'm working on 2 stories for the Griot that there is no deadline for them.
Okay.
But being at the AJC, there was a deadline. I had like 3 stories to do at the AJC every day. And that was a difficult part, but getting that paycheck every week
right.
felt really good.
Right.
Because I didn't have to worry about when the check was coming in the mail or when it was going to hit my account. So there's a little more stability that you have working for someone than freelancing.
Okay. What's your favorite medium for writing stories?
I don't know. Online probably right now.
Okay.
Because there's something about being able to write a story and the immediacy of it. I can write a story now, send it to the Griot, and in the morning it can be online.
Okay.
When I was at the Atlanta Journal, I would do 3-4 stories a day. And I mean, as soon as I pressed send, it went to the website. And so there was something about, ooh, look at what I did. Look at my story. It's up. You can see it. Anybody can access it. Where writing for Black Enterprise, the magazine, and when I wrote for AJC, the newspaper, you had to wait. You had to wait a month. You had to wait 2 months. With the magazine and with the newspaper, you know, sometimes you had to wait 2 or 3 days or a week. But online is immediate.
Okay. Sweet. How long have you been a professional writer?
How much time do you have? I started writing professionally in 1999.
Okay.
I was the entertainment reporter for the Atlanta Daily World newspaper.
Okay.
And I did that for about 4 years.
How was that experience?
The black press, if I think about it, I guess I've been with the black press my entire career. Except for the AJC. I didn't realize that. You just helped me realize that. ADW was my first real job, if you will. It was small. At the time that I started working at ADW, they were still printing the paper. We still put the paper together on this board. You had to glue it to the board, and they had to take it to the print shop for them to print the pages.
Wow.
And that was in 99, 2000. And so it was a different kind of experience for me. I worked harder at ADW than I did at the AJC. It was smaller, the staff was smaller. My friend Erin Hames and I, Erin is a reporter for the Associated Press, we would do, at that time the paper printed twice a week. We would do 3 or 4 stories every issue. We would be doing breaking news story, entertainment stories, health stories, business stories, writing what we'll call writing clips like news briefs.